welcome. I am so excited to be sitting here next to Tabarri Hamilton today, owner of Hamilton Flooring. Tabari was left when he was 2 years old in a movie theater, put into foster care, adopted, moved out when he was 16 years old, married, started a family, divorced, homeless, and then started a successful flooring business on his own. And today we're going to find out exactly how Tabari was able to push through all of these. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Before we get into everything else, how would you describe yourself to someone who has never met you?
I'm goofy. I'm a really goofy person. I like to laugh, just lighthearted, and just a gentle giant. You know, a lot of people will call me that.
A gentle giant. I love that. I can actually see that in you. Like when you walk into a room, like your smile comes before anything else, to be honest. So thank you. So as of most recent, you started your business, but what led you to starting Hamilton Flooring? I know you went through a divorce, you were laid off from your job, and kind of going through it and ended up homeless. Yeah. So tell me, what did a typical day look like to Tabari when you were going through, I don't know, the past 3 years of your life?
Oh man, a day, it's kind of crazy. Depends on the day. Some days I'd be sleeping in the car, so wake up, go to the gym to be able to shower, and then just try to apply for jobs, going and giving out resumes, you know. And so that was a lot of what my days looked like. If I would be staying with a friend, sleeping on their couch or in their garage or just somewhere to have a roof over my head. So yeah, the past couple of years, a day in the life of me was just very all over the place.
Very random.
Yeah.
Did you, when you would go to the gym to shower, did you also work out?
Yeah, I would put a little workout in. Yeah. I would do a little workout. It was, one of my things where I just took a lot of off my mind, right? Just being able to work out. And I'd work out for 2-3 hours. Like I would just be in the gym, you know, just going at it, trying to, you know, just clear my head and figure out what the next move was.
One thing that I remember you telling me that was very telling of like, I know I'm not going to stay in this situation is like you took some of the very last money that you had and you went and got a P.O. box.
Yeah.
You're this is not going to this is not going to control my life. I'm going to be able to receive
mail and different things. Because when, you know, going through I just call it a breakup with the railroad. There were still letters and things that needed to get to me because, you know, the union was still trying to get in contact. And so I was like, I don't have a home. I lost my home. So that's where everything was going. So that was, I sold a couple things and I went and paid for a P.O. box for the year. And so that I could have somewhere to receive letters or different things that I needed to get.
Yeah, that's how I know you were built different, because that's the last thing that goes through most people's minds when they're trying to survive is like, oh, let's get a P.O. box. What I'm going to do, it's not going to live for a home. I'm going to get a P.O. box.
Yeah, no, it was, thank you.
Most people facing just one of these challenges would have felt incredibly defeated, but you were going through like all of these simultaneously. So tell me, what was going through your mind?
Survive. Like the survival instinct kicked back in from when I was 16, just having to figure it out and where I was going to get my next meal, how I was going to make money to be able to see my children, because I have children as well. So being able to work enough in that time that I didn't have them to get like an Airbnb or something for me to be able to still be able to see them. And so like that was my focus the whole time, was just like, okay, I have to get to the next, just one more week. And so
it's like one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one thing I was going to ask is there one person in particular who didn't give up on you during this time frame that you always knew?
Yeah, sorry. Get me emotional already. I was like, yes, there's a couple, but yeah, sorry to let you finish your question.
Yeah, no, that got you to this. Tell me about it.
Oh man, I'm gonna cry. Well, two people. Well, there was more, but two that stood out. Kylie, which is now my business partner, and a friend, Reagan. Both of them saw me in that and loved me through it. Kylie, when she shares custody with her daughter would go to her dad's house. She would let me come and stay in this little twin bed in her basement and be able to sleep there, and vice versa. Same with my friend Reagan. She was going through her own slew of problems, and she would make sure I had food, check on me, the kids. She would give me and the kids a place to come stay and hang out during the summer when they were out of school. And so those two women were huge and sent from God for sure, because a lot of the time through that I was praying and just like, God, I don't know where I'm going to stay or how I'm going to eat. And like Kylie would get, if she got a review at her other company, they would give her like $25 for a review. And she would always give me like that money. Like she would say, hey, I got a couple of reviews, let's go get dinner. Or I know you need gas, so here's that. And so I get a little emotional because they were huge for me in that time. So.
Yeah, I get emotional because I can see the connection between you and Kylie. I've seen both of you together, and it's different.
Yeah.
So I would say that you were very lucky to have her, but I think she's also lucky to have her.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of your earlier life.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years old. Do you have any memories from then?
No, I did therapy for a couple of years, a few years back, and about 3 years, and a lot of it, my therapist told me that I blocked a lot of it out, because I try to go back and remember some of those things when people are like, do you remember anything from your childhood? Do you remember anything fun? There's like little glimpses that I would have now and then, but most of it was just, I blocked it all out. And it just didn't have a really pretty childhood. And, I'm thankful for my aunt who later adopted me and took me in, but she worked nonstop. And so there was a lot of things that happened that, she wasn't aware of, and so because she was working 2-3 jobs. And so that's where a lot of my drive and my work ethic come from, is seeing her example. So if anything I could remember from my childhood was she would be working at the hospital, get off, come pick us up, take us to like practice, and then go, back to a job, because she cared for people with disabilities as well. And so it was just, she was always on the move, but she just she was just like, I'm going to make it happen. And she took me and a brother and sister in. So she already had 3 of her own children and then took in 3 more kids. And so, you have to think of the added stress. So a lot of my memories are of her and her hard work. And when she did get a break, it was like she loved on us as best she could.
Yeah.
So those were those were like some of those, memories that I have. But
how does the way that you show, how does your life and how you were raised as a child influence how you are as a dad?
Growing up, I didn't have mom or dad. Obviously, they left me, and my dad was really young, so he kind of got sent away. But I just want to be there for them in all ways. Like, just I take them lunch to school and sit with them at lunch in the cafeteria. Show up for career days or different things like that. Field trips, because I remember other kids as a kid, growing up, like their parents would be there, and I would always want, my parent or someone there. And so just showing up has just really made me pay attention to who they are and what they're going through, and just being soft with them, because I didn't get a lot of like holding or, the softness as it. And so just being soft with them and hearing them and feeling them and their what they're experiencing, and just reminding them that I'm going to be here as long as I get to be here for them. So,
okay, let's go to when you're 16 years old. You made a choice to leave home. You either left out of inspiration or desperation, or maybe both. Tell me what was going through your mind at that time.
Well, it's going to be funny because, they'll probably see this. But I had a cousin that we didn't get along really well younger. And I had just gotten back from meeting my mom for the first time out in Hawaii. And that experience did not go well. So I get back to California, And, the cousin reminded me of how amazing it was when I wasn't there, and how she got to have full access to her parents, which valid, right? Very valid, because my aunt, her heart, took 3 kids in. They didn't get to experience their own parents in that space because she was working and running around for us and to help provide for the house. So after her saying that, that she enjoyed me not being there, I really felt, I was like, okay, well, I'm not welcome here. And so I don't know out of the 2 that you asked which one it was, but it was, I just am not, I don't feel welcome here, so I'm going to leave. And so I ended up leaving and going with a sister, which then decided to go back to California. And then I was officially on my own at that point.
And were you still 16 at that
I was 17 at that point.
Were you in high school?
I was a senior in high school in Reno, Nevada, and we were staying in a motel, and because we'd moved around quite a bit that year, and my sister did everything she could, but she was still trying to figure out life, and she was like, I'm going to go back to California, and I was like, there's nothing there for me. So I just was like, I'm going to stay. I don't want to go. And so I ended up staying, trekking through the snow to get to the motel, get back to basketball practice, get to school, doing all that. And so that's kind of how I made it happen, until almost my 18th birthday. And then a family, my coach's brother-in-law, reached out to me after a tournament and offered me a place to stay for the rest of the school year.
Most people would have given up at that point. At what point in your life did you realize that you were built different?
From a kid.
Is there a specific, like in my mind, I can go back to a time where I thought I can remember exactly what I did when I was like, ooh, I can do anything I want.
It goes back to, I think I was 13 or 14 when I was out in Hawaii to meet my mom. We got into it, and she wasn't very nice, and she was verbally and physically abusive. And so I took off, ran to a friend's house, and planned this whole escape to get back to California. And so the plan took 6 months, but that's when I knew, I was just like, because I reached out to my aunt, I went to the payphone, I'm dialing her, collect, and orchestrating all this. And so I'm like, hey, my friend, send the ticket to my friend, the information there, they're going to help me get to the airport. And so orchestrated this whole plan, got to the airport, my mom didn't even know, flew back to California on my own, and my friend's parents helped me get through the airport, because at that time you had to get somebody, so just orchestrating that whole thing, I was just like, man, this is, I can do this, so.
Note to everybody out there, do not tell Tabari no, because he will do it anyways.
I'll find a way.
He'll find a way. If he wants it bad enough, he will find a way.
Yes.
That's amazing. When you were young, who believed in you? Can you think of one specific person, or was it yourself?
So, it's a lot of teachers told me I wasn't going to be anything. I had cousins and family members tell me I wouldn't make it and be anything. And so I had to really inspire myself. I knew from a young age, I was like, there's more to life than this. There has to be. The things I saw, the things I experienced and went through, I just knew. And so there was my coach later in life, obviously, but myself until this point, but my coach and the man that took me in, his name's Doug. I call him my dad now, but those 2 men saw me, in the middle of a room, a crowd. They saw me, they believed in me, and they told me, I could do anything. And so it took a lot of self push until that point, and then to hear that from another man, a male, especially seeking, wanting that, because I didn't have, any male influence in my upbringing. And so it was, so those, I would say, to answer your question, both of those. So
have you told them that?
My dad, Doug, yes, he for sure knows. And Coach Voiles, he knows. I get emotional. But they both know. I've reached out probably after graduating, because again, I was told I wouldn't graduate, and so I thanked both of them for believing in me and seeing me,
Yeah. I didn't realize how important that was until my son had a football coach who gave him what I couldn't give him as a father figure.
Right.
and I saw his confidence level change, and I was like, oh, I could breathe.
Yeah.
You know, because you need that as a young man.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad they gave that to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you own a successful, I'm going to say it's successful, it's super successful company that you started about 16 months ago.
Yeah.
Why flooring?
That's a great question. It's a little long on the story, but I was homeless at this time. I worked for the railroad, so all I know is like construction. And so Kylie was working for another flooring company and doing closets as well. And she knew my situation, and I'm like, I'm applying everywhere. I applied over 100 jobs, you know, Kara. Like it was.
I would have hired you.
But I applied over 100 places, and no one would call me back, or I'd get an email back saying that you're overqualified. And so I'm sitting there, end of summer, still, like I said, bouncing around. And she's like, well, why don't you come and try and sell flooring? And I went, met with the owner and saw their operation and just got a weird feeling about it. And so I go back and I talk to Kylie, and I'm like, you know, so what do you make commission wise? What, you know, and she tells me, oh, I sold this much in flooring and this is my commission. I'm just like, you know, the numbers start going off in my head, and I'm just like, it's like, okay, so the company made this. And so I had already had my photography business prior to this. And so I was like, we can do this, you know, and so I started digging, you know, searching on the phone and the computer to find what was needed to become a flooring contractor. And so I went and took my camera, like did my last photo shoot, and I sold my camera. I sold everything I had of value, and I signed up for the contractor's class. So I got my general contractor's license, and to be able to do and sell all the flooring, the types. And so that was what kind of started it. And, you know, I sat down. I remember the day that I got down, I prayed, and I was like, God, like, if this is what I'm supposed to do, you know, show me that it's show me. And I tell you, Kara, like all the things just lined up. They just fell in line. And so,
do you ever doubt yourself?
Oh, even today, I doubt myself. Like I struggle with the imposter syndrome, right? Where it's like, am I doing this? Should I be doing this? So it's a daily reminder of like, I have created what I created off of, you know, the drive, and God constantly reminds me that he put me where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And so
I've told you this before, but I'll say it again. I believe that you can really get to know and understand someone when you know about the best day of their life and the worst day of their life. Can you tell me about the best day of your life? Minus your kids, because that's the best day of their lives, or when our kids are born. Yeah, there's also a different day.
Best day of my life to date was the day I decided to get baptized and give my life to Christ. I would say that is the best day. Nothing changed. Nothing was like, you know, everything's better. But the peace that I felt, even still being in my experiencing my homelessness and going through the battles with my children's mothers and all of the things, right, where it just felt like everything went silent. Everything went silent after that day. And, you know, I just felt this peace.
Yeah, I understand. Best day of my life is when the day I realized that God knows me by name.
Yeah, absolutely.
A powerful feeling.
Absolutely.
Like exhale.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the best way you can describe it. Exhale.
Coming up out of that water, I remember coming up, and it was just, okay, here we go.
And your worst day of your life?
Ooh, no, I mean, there's lots of those days.
Which one has shaped you?
Oh man, losing everything is the one that shaped me. I was a very prideful person before finding God. I was proud of my accomplishments, the things. Had a little ego because, you know, you have a chip on your shoulder with all the things you kind of...
And keep up with the Joneses.
You know, and so it was one of those things that, losing everything was just a reminder of how human I was and am, you know, just that, like, I can't control anything. And no matter how hard I try to hold on to something, that it can be taken away.
It's not good for you. It's not good for you.
So I would say that day.
When you were going through your very first flooring job, I remember the very first loan I closed. I think I could still picture the house.
Yeah.
I remember the person and his whole family. Do you remember that job?
I do.
Were you scared?
Terrified because, starting the flooring, you go through this contracting class and you think that you're going to learn these things, but they just teach you like the back end. A lot of it is like how to run it, how to do it properly, the ethics, right? Yeah, exactly. All of those things. And so we decided to do the home show, like reps and distributors as I can. And there was one that stood out and gave us an account, and he gave me like the rundown of this flooring. And so I am selling, this person comes into our booth and I'm selling them on this flooring, and I had no idea what I was talking about. And so it was, but I mean, I knew what he had told me. And so it's just like, so I shared that information. And so we start the job maybe a month or two later, and it's a whole like first level of a house. And so scary, missed a lot of things. We had to go fix things. So I think I only made like $300 on that job.
You know what? You started.
Exactly. And they were happy. It turned out beautiful, but it was one of those where I'm like, okay, I got to remember all of these steps into what it takes to actually produce a good floor. And so I think that's what has helped us and shape us to who we are now, is the detail, the knowing, the understanding, and going and furthering the education on knowing what's the best type of floor for this house, what's the best for this, what we need to do to make it perform.
Okay, so 16 months in.
Yes.
And as far as goals for your business, I'm sure you've got goals for the number of people you want to hire, the jobs, the revenue you want to make. But you've also shared something else with me that you are excited about creating.
Yes.
That you can get going as Hamilton Flooring continues to excel.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I came up with a name. It's called Hamilton Hope Foundation.
Hamilton Hope Foundation.
And it's going to be, it's a nonprofit that I want to start to be able to work with the kids in foster system, help the families that are taking in foster kids. And it's also going to help the parents, right, that have had to give their children up, to be able to move on and continue life. And if they choose to be back in their children's life, how we can help facilitate that. So
reintegration.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that is the goal, is to get Hamilton running kind of by itself, doing its thing. And then I can really pour into that because, my experience with, the foster system, being adopted and all of those things and the challenges that I faced as that child, I want to help other children that are going through that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful, goal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I have just a few more.
Okay.
What is the hardest lesson you've learned in starting a business?
Oh, no matter how big of an idea you think or what you think you're going to be able to do, it's not going to go that way.
It's going to be this hard? It's going to be 10 times hard.
Yes. You set these ideas and these things and you think, okay, I'm going to be able to do this and this. And then when it doesn't go that way, you have to be able to pivot. And so, just trying to not set too big of goals is one of the biggest things, because it's day to day, right? You can have this idea of like, we're going to do this amount. And when you're not closing it, then you start focusing on that and bringing that down. So
not to Tony Robbins you, but where focus goes, energy flows, right?
Yeah. So you start focusing on the negative and all that. So it's just the positive thinking and just staying like, hey, we close this deal. Let's see it through. Let's get through this project, and then we'll get to the next one.
If there were someone who wanted to start a business today, what would be the one piece of advice you would give them?
It's so funny you asked this. I had a 22-year-old ask me the other day on the similar question on how to go about it. And I said this on the other podcast I was on. And I know a lot of people don't like this answer, but pray. If you don't have a relationship with God, get a relationship with God and go to him and ask him how this business idea will help others. Because when we focus on money and it bettering my life, it's pointed inward. And so what I've learned in the business is how can I push this in outward, right? And so how can we help families that are in need, or other people that, maybe don't have the financing, but they need new flooring and new, in their home. And so that would be my advice, is just to write it down, make it plain, and take it to God.
Let go, let God.
Amen. Yes.
What do people see? What do people not see about you behind the scenes that they would be surprised about?
That's a good question. How much I pray.
Okay.
Pray without ceasing I read that in scripture, and I'm praying probably 10 to 20 times a day. It's just not at 1 in the morning, 1 at night. It's praying over a project before I go into a customer's home. Just having that relationship with God has been key to our success and to what we're doing. And so a lot of things behind the scenes is just praying. And like, you get a moment where you have anxiety, right? You're worried about something, worried about a project, worried finances, whatever it may be. I stop and I pray.
And you pray.
I pray.
I've never asked anyone this before, but is there a certain feeling that you get when you know God is answering your prayer, or when you're praying that you feel?
So
I ask this because I get a feeling, and I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not. Again, that piece that I said when I got baptized, when I pray and I know that he's answering it or coming in, confirming, it's a settling piece. It's like, I don't know how to explain that, but if you shook up a soda and or a bottle of champagne and you can watch the bubbles stop fizzing, they come down. That's the feeling. That's the only way I can put it.
I like that explanation, because the feeling I get is the actual bubbles. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
all through my body. It's like, okay, that's confirmation.
Yeah. It's time to move. Yeah. It's a piece, because sometimes you get a little unsettled when you think you've got the answer, and then it's like, nope, that wasn't it. So you need to get that peace, that chills, the just relaxed feeling, and just knowing that we're good.
Some people hear faith and they think it means waiting around. How do you balance trusting God with your daily grind in business?
It's walk by faith. Walk by faith is what me and Kylie talk about it all the time, and not by sight, right? And so I've seen too much and experienced too much to know that he's going to provide for me no matter what. And so faith is not sitting around waiting. It's take a step and move, because God is moving. He's always moving, right? And evolving. And so the one thing me and Kylie have this conversation, and I have with others as I, talk to them, it's like, just take the step.
And trust that.
And trust, yeah. It's a trust fall, right? It's like, I'm gonna let myself, just go.
The last couple of years, I'm like, I'm running as fast as I can.
Yes.
I'm jumping off a cliff, and I hope my wings open.
It's just you have to, because a lot of people get stuck on the waiting. And they're just like, okay, when the money comes, when this happens, when this,
on God to deliver.
And God's like, I have to work with something. I can't work with you sitting still. So if that answers your question. Okay.
Has your faith told you to do something in business that you wouldn't normally do?
Oh, yeah.
Every day?
Oh, the honesty, right? So standing with that. So there's times, we'll just be real here. There's moments where it's like, ooh, that customer didn't see that. I could hold on to that, or I don't have to do this. And so, there's constant, the daily, me and Kylie, again, we talk about this all the time. It's like, we don't have to live that way anymore, where it's like, we can write a refund, for the customer. Okay, we didn't need this product, or we thought we were going to need this, and we did it. And so just building on that, or a distributor over sending us stuff and saying, hey, you guys sent us extra when we could they sent it, it's their fault, right? The mind is like, oh, they messed up, not us.
I'll just keep it over here for a while.
And so it's just being honest in that. And so, it's a daily.
Looking back, was there a single decision or one pivot point that changed everything?
As soon as I learned how to submit.
Yeah, you said that was your word.
That was your word last year. Was submit. And as soon as I learned how to submit and take my hands off of it and allow God to do what he does best. That was the pivot and change, because as soon as I did that, we landed Lululemon. We got First Watch, all of the projects and the custom homes.
Amazing projects.
Yeah. And so it was the submitting it to him, and then even saying, hey, we're going to, God, we're going to apply for this, or we're going to bid on this project. And if it's in your will, let it be done. Yeah. And so that was the pivot last year for us. And we have just seen the growth just continue.
You've experienced abandonment, abuse, homelessness, things that break most people permanently. What kept you from becoming a statistic?
There was a couple times I almost came on the stat sheet, but God's grace, I will say there's, I'm not perfect. I've done not good things in my life to try to make ends meet, and thinking that this is the only way. I've hurt people on the way, thinking that I'm like, it's that climbing over kind of thing, right? It's like, I'm just going to push you down while I step up. And so God's grace, in all of that, knowing what I've done, the change, the new me, right? To be able to live and just be better. And so his grace is sufficient, and it's mighty.
I have probably 3 more questions.
Okay, let's go.
We're getting hot in these lights. If a 16-year-old version could see you today, what do you think he'd say?
Oh, it's trying to get me to cry today. This almost got me a couple times. But the 16-year-old me, is that the version, or okay.
The 16-year-old you are.
Me.
What would he tell you today?
Thank you for not quitting. Thank you for not giving up. Good job.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, like, cool. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, we did it. We did it. That'd be that big one. Like, we did it.
Okay. This one might be a little more difficult.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a warning. I might be difficult for me too, but I picture you as this 2-year-old little boy, big brown eyes, and I can't imagine that you didn't have that same smile. I just like shit-eating grin, right? Sorry, I don't know how else to say
you're
it.
scared.
Standing in a movie theater. You walk in, it's Tabari, who you are today. You pick up 2-year-old Tabari.
Whew.
What do you say to him?
It's going to be okay. I know you're scared, but it's going to be okay. Yeah. You brought out the heat.
I picture him, and I just want to pick him up. He just
holds, yeah.
Yeah, just hold him. Yeah. If one person could see this story today, who do you hope hears it today, and what would you want them to take from it?
Someone that is at their end, at their breaking point, that they feel that that's their breaking, that they're at their breaking point, that there's no hope, there's no exit. So there's a lot of times that I was there, and what I would hope to tell them is that keep going. Just take another step, take another breath. There are a lot of people rooting for you. There are a lot of people counting on you that you don't even know yet. And that it gets better. We all have a purpose. We are all designed for a purpose. And you may not know that purpose, but you have a purpose. And so hopefully someone gets to see this and just keep going. And your relationship, depending on what your relationship with God looks like, I challenge you to pray.
Yeah.
Pray to him and say, show me you. And he's so good that he will show up and he will show himself. And because your life is precious and it means a lot to him.
And he knows you by name.
He knows how many hairs you have on your head, even if you're bald.
He doesn't know how many you have because there's not much up there. So he's got
but he does know. He knows. No, I know. It's but he knows. And so just take another step, and it's going to be okay.
I feel like so many times in my life, and I said this all the time in my 20s, like I'm at capacity. I am at capacity. I can take you more. And the minute I say that is the minute I'm delivered more. Thank you, God.
Yes.
But what I've learned through all of that and through all of your trials too is that this breaking point when we think we've hit our max capacity is actually increasing our capacity to hit a bigger low.
Absolutely.
Because there's always more coming. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, it's always going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
And so
when you think you hit that point, this is the thing that I've learned, is that God won't give you too much that you can't handle. We think we can't.
It feels
right?
like it, Tabari.
But then again, you said you get hit with a little bit more, and it's like, well, then I just took that other hit. So like, I thought I was here, but now I'm actually here. And so it's growing, it's stretching, it's forming. I tell people it's like the the fire, right? Refining, just constantly being refined, and the impurities getting burned out. And so you got to go through a little bit of heat.
Yeah. That's the most fascinating thing with aging.
Yes,
Is that being able to have the capacity to look back on the challenges we went through and be like, ooh, this wasn't happening because somebody was punishing me. This was happening because someone was preparing me to have a higher capacity for whatever it is I'm going through.
Absolutely.
So I want to say thank you for sharing your story.
I appreciate it.
And if you want to get to know Tabari, where can they find you?
Oh man, that's a good question. So, social medias, or if it's for flooring, HamiltonFlooring.com or HamiltonFloors.com. And then for me, if you have questions and just need someone to give you some advice, both my handles are just my name. So Tabarri Hamilton, Tabarri Hamilton, just like the president. So.
And if you know someone going through it, like Tabari was, share this with them and give them a little bit of hope.
Yes. That's
so,
it.
hope.
Hope. Hamilton Hope. Yes. Thank you.